In these times, nearly everybody dances to the same tune. Everything is on the move, in constant change. Never-ending construction is suffocating our rivers and anything that gets in its way, including our relationship with nature.
Para hablar de sostenibilidad tengo que tener elementos sociales, económicos, biológicos y ver un equilibrio entre todos.
We live under the pressure of a globalized world where we hardly have time to stop, think, and question where this so-called progress is taking us all. However, in other parts of the world where people live with nature and depend on it for a living, things seem to be quite different. In this remote village in Costa Rica, everything has come to a halt. They know that today will be no ordinary day, and that they will soon witness one of nature's most incredible spectacles. But for now, they'll just have to wait, their eyes fixed on the horizon, hoping today there will be arribada. I'd just gotten back from an expedition in the Red Sea, filming the transoceanic white-tipped shark. That's what my wife calls him anyway, but his real name is oceanic white-tipped shark. He's a pelagic species, so if you think about it, I guess the transoceanic name suits him quite well. I needed a vacation, and to me, that means going nowhere. But my wife had other plans. Next day, we were on a plane to Costa Rica. I had already been in Costa Rica back in the 80s, and I was curious to see if time had taken a toll on its wildlife population. This time, I didn't bring all my cameras with me, because for my wife, this was our holiday. It's a good thing I took some time to hide a couple of small cameras in my backpack, and a small underwater housing that I use as a backup, just in case. If I would have known what I'd be filming in Costa Rica, I would have definitely brought all my cameras with me. Tortuguero was declared a national park back in 1975, and it's still as beautiful as the first time I saw it. Its canals, jungle, and wildlife captivated us from the first day. It was magical seeing the butterflies as they tirelessly sought nectar from the flowers. We found this sloth in a gas station. He'd been picked up after his mother's death. They spend most of their time sleeping, and their slow movements make them an easy prey. Competition is fierce here. Trees are attacked by ants, while thousands of vines slowly creep up in a frantic race to catch the first rays of sun. This walking palm tree can actually move, using its roots to search for a more human and brighter place. Huge tree trunks break out of the murky water as though they would need air to breathe. The insects, the humidity in the air, and the high temperatures make this place a very special one. Here in these channels lurks the bull shark. He's regarded as the most dangerous of all sharks and can swim hundreds of kilometers up rivers searching for its prey. There was this eerie feeling in the air. We knew we were being watched by hundreds of eyes, but we couldn't see them. The power of the jungle is overwhelming. It marches on just like an army and will only stop when it reaches the almighty ocean. The critters in these beaches are pretty amazing. Hermit crabs are constantly seeking the perfect shell. They use them as a bunker when they feel threatened. They hide in it and then use their biggest claw to seal off the entrance. We drove down the coastline towards Puerto Viejo. Everything here moves in slow motion. Even reggae is played a little slower here. For the most die-hard Rastas fans, Bob Marley is their god, and his music their religion. Everything is all right. No problem, man. We tried to drive all the way up to the border with Panama, but the heavy rain made us turn back. This time, we drove down the west coast. We got to this village called Ostional. It wasn't very different from the others that we saw, except that we didn't see any locals. Then there were these signs. What was this arribada all about? We ran into some villagers on the beach. It looked like everybody was there waiting for something to come out of the water. We finally spoke to one of them and found out what the arribada was all about.
Hace 3 años aproximadamente atrás hubo una arribada en la cual salió más de 1 millón de tortugas.
Un lugar donde la naturaleza escogió para el desove, que llamamos el desove de las tortugas.
Tenemos 10 de 12 meses con arribadas.
En sí, una arribada puede ser 2 kilómetros de playa full, con miles de tortugas ahí.
We found out later that there would be many more stories to be told about the arribada. We couldn't pass by this opportunity, so we decided to stay and wait, just like everybody else. We waited and waited, but no signs of turtles anywhere, just an endless blue horizon. We spent some time with the locals, and that's when we met Oliver. He had the only bar in town and also served as a guide for the Arribada project. The days dragged on. drinking rum and hearing all kinds of stories about the arribada. Now and then, the sound from a walkie-talkie would report that the arribada hadn't started yet.
Ok, copiado. Regrese a la caseta entonces.
They told us that the arribada began back in the 50s. Tourists come from all over the world to see it, and now it's one of the main sources of income in Ostional, along with the sale of turtle eggs. I filmed these scenes in the island of Cubawa in Venezuela back in the 80s when they were hunted down to near extinction. Today, many communities all over the world work together in protecting what they consider an important part of their culture.
Desde 1983 se crea el Refugio Nacional de Vida Silvestre Estrenal.
Para el pueblo es algo muy importante el tener esta especie acá, en Ostional, y cuidarla.
Imagínate, desde niño nosotros inculcamos en los niños la conservación, la protección de ellas. Y imagínate, yo tengo una niña de 9 años y ella viene sola a la playa con los primitos más pequeños que ella, cuando hay nacimientos, y ellas están ahí en la playa sin que nadie les diga nada, ¿no? Cuidándolas de los pelotes no se las coman y cuidando que vayan al mar y todo esto.
Another beautiful moonlit night. But still, no arribada. Next day we went to the beach and saw these little white spots on the horizon. We got a little closer and realized that it was their heads popping out of the water. I guess they were just making sure it was safe for them to come on the beach. Then one by one, they slowly started to come out. The arribada had begun. It had started when there was nobody on the beach. All you could hear were the waves breaking. They looked so exhausted. Then the villagers showed up. Out of the 100 eggs that they lay, only 10% survive. They too were born on this beach many years ago. They're now the lucky ones that have made it back to the same beach, closing the cycle. Watching them slowly come out of the ocean was fascinating. What had those eyes seen? Where did their journey take them? Why do they return to the same beach? What dangers had they encountered on their way back? Their instinct tells them that the sea is not a safe place to lay their eggs, and that by coming out in mass numbers will guarantee their future as a species. What their instinct doesn't tell them is that here, far from their world, they're about to come face to face with the worst predator of them all. The sea turtle's will to survive against all odds is incredible. They will travel thousands of miles just to return to the same beach where they were once born. But even then, their plight is not over. That same night, I tried to film them, but there were too many. We were afraid that we might either step on the newborn or fall on top of the ones laying their eggs. They had laid millions of eggs during the night, so we decided to wait till next morning. Many of them didn't even have the strength to make it back to the sea, so they just stayed there, waiting on the shore, maybe hoping that with a little bit of luck, a wave could help them make it back. Unfortunately, for some, that wave never came. For the villagers, the waiting was over. It was now time to collect the eggs. The whole village was there, and each one of them knew exactly what to do. Some collected the eggs. Others would just wait until the turtle finished. Some protected them from the predators, or helped the newborn. Usually the woman would collect the eggs, and then the men load them onto the trucks. It's hard to explain what we felt. It was like an emotional roller coaster ride, and it all took place in complete silence. I had never felt the power of nature as I did that day. Life. Death. Hope. Pain. Joy. All the actors perfectly playing their roles before our very own eyes in a little theater called Ostional. The villagers, eager to collect the eggs. The turtles struggled for survival. A life that ends even before it is born. Those who never even made it to the shoreline. And not too far from that same shoreline, hundreds of mating turtles preserving their species. Out of all the predators, crabs, dogs, lizards, cats, the buzzards, were the most hated by the villagers, but they were only playing their role too, just like everybody else. We saw many injured turtles on the beach. Some of them had parts of their shell bitten off by sharks. One of its worst enemies is the tiger shark. With just one bite, it can break the shell in two and kill the turtle in a split second. We were truly overwhelmed by the whole experience. I guess that's what makes us different from the rest of all the animals. We can love, feel pity, admire the beauty of our fragile planet. Yet we can destroy all those same values in a blink of an eye. The alligators here can grow up to 5 meters and can easily be seen in many of its rivers. Another story is filming them in their natural habitat. Not an easy thing to do. Perhaps no other animal on this planet has to endure such hardship as the turtle. Longliners with thousands of hooks take a heavy toll on their population every year. In Ostional, everything is well managed. Only a small percentage of eggs can be taken, and the protection of the turtles has become part of their daily life. But not all turtles are as lucky as the ones that come to Ostional to lay their eggs. In other parts of the world, we are rapidly destroying their natural habitat. But here in this village, a small group of people have learned how to manage their natural resources without the need to go to those so-called international government organizations, where endless negotiations carry on for months and months. Meanwhile, our fragile planet is now paying the consequences of it all. Today, there's still controversy as to our responsibility in the degradation of our planet. But what we cannot deny is the environmental impact we are all creating. And while high-ranking international organizations spend their time discussing global warming, sustainability, pollution in our oceans, in this little village called Ostional, its people are once again waiting and wondering, will there be a next arribada?